Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tim from OnlineTeacherDude.com and I'm here today to give you a really great interview with Danielle Johnson from HeyDannyJ.com. And we are experienced veteran online ESL teachers that have been in the industry for more than 3 years, and we talk about the state of online teaching now, what it might look like in 2021, our own businesses, and some of our thoughts and feelings about the companies that we work for. If you're new here, give a like below and subscribe if you're not already. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below as well. I would love to answer them. If you are interested in teaching ESL online or you're an ESL teacher wanting to diversify your income, I want to encourage you to jump over to my website and download my freebie, which will help you find the best online ESL company for you. This is part one of a two-part interview that we have done together, and after watching this, if you want to continue listening to our conversation about online teaching as we move into 2021, head on over to her YouTube channel and watch part two. I will link that video below in the description. So without further ado, let's jump into the interview with Danielle Johnson from HeyDannyJ.com. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel today, and I'm so happy to have teacher Dani on with me, who is a Gogokid teacher, a VIPKid teacher, an OutSchool teacher, and yeah, we've been doing this thing for a long time, so it's exciting to connect, and we're going to try to give you all the tea and all the thoughts that we have about online teaching, all of the tea. So yeah, hey Dani.
Hey Tim, thank you so much for having me today. I cannot wait to smell the tea.
Spill the tea. I've got tea and coffee, so we'll be spilling
tea and coffee. What kind of tea do you have in there?
But I've got some good coffee here. So yeah, tell us just quickly about you and where you teach.
Sure. So, hi, I am Dani of HeyDannyJ.com, and I teach for Gogokid mainly, and also OutSchool, and sometimes for VIPKid when they have an incentive, and I'll open 25.
How to get that money.
Yes, and then I also have a YouTube channel like Tim, you might have seen, and I have an e-commerce store aligned in the teaching community, and I also coach teachers to start their own businesses on YouTube. So those are, I have lots of different hats that I wear.
Doing all of the things. Awesome.
All the things, yep.
So we're going to talk about online teaching in 2021 today, but let's get started with some of the kind of nitty details about the two companies that we mainly work for, VIPKid and Gogokid. So you mainly teach at, where are you mainly teaching, Dani?
Yeah, so I am pretty much totally at Gogokid now. I used to teach a bunch for VIPKid, and then my base rate pay for VIPKid is $7.50.
Is it?
Oh, so my goodness. I'm not teaching them at all really anymore.
Yeah, wow, okay. I started with $8.50, so it was decent, and I never got a raise, but so it always.
Oh, it's impossible to get a raise.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I know.
When people say they get raises, I'm like, really? Did you really get a raise?
Do that?
Yeah, you have to work a ton. For both VIPKid and Gogokid, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I started, when I started teaching online, I was kind of averaging 8 or 9 classes a day. So I could have probably gotten the raise. However, I wasn't teaching peak hours because of where I live. So I was teaching I think in one whole year of teaching, I taught like 4 or 5 peak hour slots in total out of like 2,000 classes. Cause I never needed to. And I was always getting booked like before peak times. So what about you? And then, so anyway, then I kind of tapered down and now I'm doing about 4 or 5 a day. What does your schedule look like?
So for me, well, when COVID hit, I was able to teach because normally I'm in Vietnam. Right. So I'm the same as you, where like normally I was on Asian hours where I could teach just in the mornings, I could teach at lunch, and then evenings I would hardly ever teach. Yeah. I would teach sometimes though, but then now I'm on Pacific time.
Yeah. It's so early.
Not find me waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Nope. So I teach on Fridays and Saturdays, but before, when all the kids were home, I was teaching like throughout the week in the evening times because kids were home, so I could book it. That wasn't a peak time, but
Right.
now I'm just literally every Friday and Saturday night from 5 to 8. So I just teach like 6 hours a week now.
6 hours a week in total.
Yes.
Oh wow, you've gone down a lot then.
Yes, because I was teaching a lot more before when all my students were home in the evenings, but I'm very serious about sleep.
Okay. That's great. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I don't know if I would be doing online teaching as long as I have if I was having to get up at that time of day every day. There's just I'm not a morning person. I'm trying to be more of a morning person, but man, oh man. Yeah, so I used to teach 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Beijing time. That was like my jam, 3 to 6.
Yeah, that's a nice time.
Yep. So I was catching a lot of kids coming home from school, and then I shifted to like 5. Now I'm like 5 to 7 because I was finding before 5 difficult to fill with short notice. So let's talk about, bookings. This is what I think everybody wants to know about. Am I going to get booked? How are bookings? Why are these people getting booked? And why aren't I getting booked? And I mean, I don't have a problem with bookings. Do you?
Ooh, I have really helpful tips for bookings. So I'd love to talk about this. So for me, my bookings are, my bookings are obviously only with my little regulars because they know I'm only opening small slots right now because that's where I'm at. So my bookings are fine, but I've seen a huge range. So like I had one teacher who last month got the job, opened the 75 slots with Gogokid for the $300 bonus, and they all almost booked.
Oh my goodness.
Like almost right away.
Imagine as a new teacher that you don't expect that, and then like, bam, I know.
Yeah, he was like, I'm a little worried. I'm like,
crazy.
I'm a little worried. I did not expect that. You're going to do great though. But, and then I've had some teachers though that hardly have gotten booked. So I've seen more people get booked and it's a slow build rather than, this teacher, but I have seen some that get just massive bookings right away. Yeah. So it does really depend. And I have found when people send me I offer always for my referrals, like profile reviews and video reviews if they can't get bookings. And it's usually because their videos are not as engaging as they could be. Okay, someone told me once recently, they're like, think of it like a TikTok video. Right? Like people are scrolling through and we all have attentions of a squirrel now. So that first 3 seconds, you have to be like,
you gotta be popping. You gotta engage the parent, be attractive and fun. And I totally agree. I mean, that's the same with like any video, right? Excuse me. I think that's the same with any video, really. It was just how we kind of interact with video now. If it's not catchy within a few seconds, like we just skip to the next one because the next one will be.
This video, hopefully everyone thought this video was very catchy.
Yeah.
Theatrical.
Totally.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So with, in general, so definitely, because I have heard the same thing with my group Gogokid referrals, definitely leaning to more like right now, bookings are really good for new teachers. What about for veteran teachers? Like, what are they saying in the Facebook groups?
I feel like
I see a mixed bag. I see like a little bit of
at least for me, I think for teachers that are well established, it's been very solid because you have those regulars, right? So the transition, I think, for a lot of people when they saw the decrease was like when I saw the decrease because they've been teaching a bunch of peak hours and then kids went back to school because things opened up after COVID sort of subdued in China and kids were going back to school. Right. So that's the biggest decrease that I heard of. I feel like for most of my referrals that are regulars now, their bookings have been pretty solid. Yeah. Okay. So it's pretty much, I mean, over at VIPKid, I wouldn't say that a new teacher, I would never say actually that a new teacher could open up that many slots and get fully booked right away. Yeah. It's just a totally different scene now. When I got hired, 3 years ago, I was that teacher that everything I opened up was getting booked. And so I had to actually like intentionally create breaks between classes because it was like my first day and I was like, no, I can't, they're booking so fast. So I had to, it was a different scene back then. Now
No, it takes time. And the ones that are really successful, I find from the beginning, are more available than most teachers. So they're able to, like, you know, I think back to several of my referrals who have done really well. They, you know, had to open up all night. That's not always possible for people. That's like crazy, you know, to have to put yourself through that. I'm not saying that that's what everybody has to do, but I find that those that are really available from the beginning tend to, you know, have better luck getting a few of those students. VIPKid has always puzzled me with their booking algorithm, because some do really well from the beginning and some never get a booking at all. And so
yeah,
I say, when you're applying, don't just apply to one company. VIPKid is not the company for everybody. It definitely can work. And I think that if you're super patient, you know, it can work out, but it can take a long time, like months. You know,
yeah.
not everybody has months to wait for a booking, right? Like, we got hired to teach, and I totally get the frustration. So I think it's good to play all over.
And I think there's a big difference, right? With VIPKid has over 100,000 teachers now, compared to some of these other companies that are like hardcore with marketing, like Gogokid, backed by ByteDance, same company as TikTok. They've got a lot of money they're throwing at, you know, I think both you and I know there's a lot of campaigns going on in China right now. So that's a part of the reason why there's been the influx, right? Which is great for teachers. And there aren't as many teachers on the platform. So it's really helpful when they run those campaigns. You're not competing against 100,000 teachers. You're competing more like 10, 15,000. So I think that's helpful.
Exactly. So have you ever seen a dip in bookings, like over your time with Gogokid? Or
kids love me. No, just kidding.
I'm the best.
No, you know what though? I haven't seen a dip with bookings with Gogokid. I've always seen dips in bookings after summer, but that's not so much like, you know, that's more of kids are going back, so hours change. I have seen a dip in bookings, not with Gogokid, but with OutSchool. I also teach for OutSchool, and there I was like, I went from lots of classes, or, you know, a class every week, or, you know, 2 classes a week to so. Wow. That's where I've seen the biggest change.
I think a lot of OutSchool teachers have with the summer to school year, right?
Yeah, it's common, I guess. So
with VIPKid, I've never seen a dip in bookings, but I have seen a dip in my ability to get booked short notice. I used to be able to open up short notice like 3 hours before the class, and almost 100% guaranteed I would get it booked. Now I have to open up 24 hours, like right at 24 hours. And I usually do get all of my slots booked, but sometimes there's 1 or 2 that don't get booked, you know, throughout a week. So I haven't seen a massive dip in bookings, but I have seen, it's a little bit more difficult to get all of my short notice booked. So,
You know what though? Being a guy and teaching for these companies, you got a leg up though, because it's you're such a minority compared to how many women are teaching. There's such few guys that, you know, I see all my male referrals are like, because there just aren't that many of them. I think that helps.
Yes.
And you're also an awesome teacher.
A lot of people have asked me about that.
I think it's just for guys.
A lot of people have asked me about that. You know, do you think male teachers have an advantage? And I've always said yes. However, with a caveat that you still need to give good classes. Do I think that it's easier for maybe a male to get those initial bookings? Potentially, but that isn't going to guarantee like a successful career with.
No, it's not at all. But like,
because if you suck, you suck, right? Like, and if you suck, parents they have a lot of choices out there to choose from. So yes,
but, you know,
initially
scrolling through.
What's that?
I said, you know, you got the mom scrolling through.
Exactly. Yeah, and so there's just less of us. I don't know. I think I used to probe through tickets, like how many male teachers that were there, and once someone did write back and gave me like a statistic, and I think it was like 6 or 7%, if I remember correctly, way back.
What?
This was like
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit higher now.
Okay.
So
wow.
Pretty low.
6 or 7%. Yeah, put on those CrossFit pics for mom.
That's right. Yeah.
What's the joke?
Exactly.
How do you know someone
My
does
picture
CrossFit?
is like me running.
First rule, talk about it.
Oh yes, I know. Did you know that I do CrossFit?
Yeah, the first rule of CrossFit is to tell people you do CrossFit.
That's right. So, all right. So things have been pretty good for you with bookings and things like that, and you've.
Yeah, I've been really happy with. I've been really happy with OutSchool because it's been so new, and some of the classes I'm making. Actually, my last class that I had, I made $90 in 50 minutes. What?
Jeez, it's so awesome.
Now I can't get book classes. I'm waiting for Christmas to end, and then I think it'll pick back up. But I'm also happy with Gogokid too. It's, you know, with these companies, there's always some sort of change. Like before, there was the executive order fiasco. Are we gonna have a job? And then it's changing policies. The pay structure is different. So you always have to take it, you know, what it is. But I still am happy with it because it's like you don't have to make curriculum.
Yeah.
You know, they pay you and you can go anywhere. I still think it's one of the greatest jobs. So
you brought up like, you know, just the stuff that happens in these companies. I mean, there's been so much, I think, just with so many companies this year, especially. Like, so spill the tea with Gogokid. What do you think what's the biggest drama with Gogokid this year that you've seen? Would it be the executive order? You know, just the big, like, massive amount of teachers that wanted to leave.
I think the executive order for sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then we didn't know for a while what was going to happen because the president was trying to ban TikTok, and TikTok is under the same company as Gogokid with ByteDance. Anyway, so a lot of teachers just stopped teaching for them. Mm-hmm. And I figured, you know, like,
what do you think of it?
I just kept teaching for them, but a lot of people just stopped teaching. So there's a lot of drama because people didn't know. And of course, it's people's livelihood. They're like, if I don't know what's going to happen, I'm not going to give them hours. For me, I was like,
So what was the worry
I'm an optimist.
From an active teacher on the platform? I think the worry was that they weren't going to get paid, right? If they taught classes.
That was a worry I never worried about it because.
No, I didn't think that was going to be a problem at all. No, I didn't quite understand it, but.
I think people were panicking. I mean, there's so many things that have been happening this year. People started panicking. They're like, we're not going to get paid. So actually, that's why Gogokid started to pay now every 2 weeks because people started freaking out. And they're like, you're going to get paid. We're just going to pay you now every 2 weeks so that you feel more confident, which was nice that they did that. So. Yeah,
for sure. So you kept, okay, so for VIPKid, I mean, how long do we have?
What drama has there been what do you think has been the most drama with VIPKid this year?
I think the biggest thing has been the pay restructuring. That incentive was a huge issue when it happened because it rolled out for new teachers and then it ended up rolling out for current teachers. And although I suspected it was going to happen, when it didn't happen for a few months, I really did believe that they were going to keep two separate systems. And then bam, in June, I think it was around June the 1st, they announced it for all teachers. I think that was a really big blow, like the fact that teachers who had been faithful and, you know, all in with the company for so long. And it's not even about the like $42.50 less that you'd make a month. It's just about the principle of, you know, working the same amount and not being able to even get a raise anymore, but actually getting less money for what you were working. So it just proved to so many that it's so important to diversify and to build your own thing on the side or, you know, get hired with other companies. And so that's what I've seen it's been a real big transition this year is into people wanting to make sure that they're secure and that, you know, they have options. So.
For sure. Well, you know, and the same thing with Gogokid, the pay, they came out, they had a pretty good incentive before where it was like, if you hit that top number for the incentive, I mean, you just got an extra $250 every single class.
It was good.
It was awesome. Yeah. And people complained about it. I'm like, and then they switched it and it's way different now. I'm like, For me, I'm at the point where I've worked for these companies for so long, right? I'm 4 years in. How many years are you?
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah. Like we've been working for so long. It's just like, you kind of roll with the punches and you say, you expect it. And I know it sounds so bad when people are watching and are like, but you're an independent contractor. They can kind of do whatever they want, but you're still making pretty good money and you're not making curriculum, and you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's
Totally.
all on your, like, there's nothing else there that really exists quite like it. So I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know?
We're still here. So I think you're absolutely right that, even if the pay is like $12 an hour or whatever it is, that can be such an answer to prayer for somebody, especially in these times when they just need something. I've had people like comment on videos that say, oh, I would never work for these slave wages and stuff like that. But I'm thinking, actually, you can't really make this kind of money doing such an enjoyable kind of job in many places. I mean, I don't know what the U.S. minimum wage is or what you would make at like, I don't know, Walmart or something, but it can still be a great job. Even if the pay is not amazing, it can be a great start for someone, or just some, fill-in income that people need, during this time when they might have. I have had several people, reach out during the pandemic, and they're just so grateful that they found this opportunity. So I think when you've been in it for a long time, it's easy to complain and look back and be like, it used to be like this. And so take control of that, harness that energy and that, frustration, and put it into, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? You can't control these things. You're never going to be able to change those things. Send in a gazillion tickets. It's not going to work. What are you going to put that energy into building, or to, how are you going to diversify your income, So I wanted to transition. Well, I wanted to ask you if you had ever, we've been in it for 3+ years. Had you ever wanted to quit before, Dani? Like, have you ever thought, I want to go back to whatever you were doing before, or no? Okay.
I've been burnt out before, right? Where I'm like, when I was really working more on like a full-time, where I wanted to work less, but there's a part of me that I feel like I wonder if I'll ever stop doing it, because some of the kids I'm really attached to at this point, where you see, I see the same students every week for how long, I don't know, it's like this special part of my heart. So not only is it, I don't know. So no, I've never thought about quitting. I've definitely been upset with certain policy changes or things that have happened, but at the same time, it's been such, like you said, like, it's just been such a blessing for my life, my livelihood. It's allowed me to see the world and still have income. And I mean, I lived off of just teaching for a long time, just teaching ESL online. So cool.
So did I, actually. I mean, it was okay money, it was good, like, especially for living in Southeast Asia. So when you live
in Southeast Asia, it's a really good income.
Yeah, you can definitely get by with, teaching 3 to 4 hours a day.
Have you ever thought about quitting?
I did last year. Yep. I thought about, were you a brick and mortar teacher before?
No, were you?
Yeah, so I was like teaching in a private international school in China, and I started in Canada, so I've got a teaching degree, and I was teaching here, and I was here for 4 years teaching at the American International School. So I left a really good job, like a really good job with, all the benefits and everything, and I landed into online teaching and taking time off. And I've thought about it, because every year around this time, it's when teachers are recruiting for themselves for positions for the following year. It's really early in the international school system. So I've thought about it, just because I've realized how unstable things are. And I'll tell you, when VIPKid changed the referral program last year, I had put all of me into helping other teachers last year. Like, it was what I was trying to build for myself. And, I was increasing my income from that. And when they pulled that out, it really made me realize that I can't rely on building my things on someone else's structure. And so it was hard to see that income gone, basically. And I even thought about online teaching. What if my bookings drop? And this, at that time, I was hired with VIPKid and Gogokid, but I was mainly teaching classes with VIPKid. And I kind of went through like a month or so of really questioning how long I would stick with this, or should I look at schools for next year, like just looking out for myself. But at this point, no, I this was a great year for, you know, building other things, and things are still going well, and I see that the future is still bright for online teaching. And but yeah, I definitely have you know, you think about it, like, well, like you said, like, I don't know, will I ever stop doing this? Is there ever going to be an explosion? So or not an explosion, but like you know, is this going to implode, I guess? Or you know, for sure. So
well, like we were talking about, online teaching is so wonderful and also sometimes so terrible. It's like the money you need, but also the kick in the butt that you need to start building your own thing, right? Because it gives you the income to, well, especially if you're living in Southeast Asia, right? For me, it gave me the income to say, cool, I got this money and now I feel the instability, so I'm going to diversify in companies, but also like, I'm not just going to build this person's dream. I'm going to build my business too, right? I'm going to use this to invest in myself. And every time there's this change or this thing happens, I'm just like, oh, all the more reason to just keep remembering to build my empire. And, you know, I'll work for this empire while I need to, because they're going to pay me to help me invest into my empire, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Dani, for jumping on my channel and chatting with me. That was loads of fun, and I hope it was valuable to you, our listeners who were watching the interview. Don't forget to jump over to Dani's YouTube channel. I will link it below in the description to watch part 2 and check out more of our interview together and our conversation about online ESL teaching. Thank you for being here, everybody, and as always, if you have not subscribed, please do that. Give this video a like if it brought you value, and ask us any questions in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Hey there, don't go anywhere just yet. See that subscribe button? Click subscribe and the bell for notifications, and watch those videos about online teaching and building a brand and business. I'll see you in the next one.